adventuring with a little geography quiz. So which country has volcanoes, lots of volcanoes, earthquakes and tsunamis, and it's also made up of 17,000 islands, and is as long as the continental US? Well, that's Indonesia. So this place is home to some 239 million people, and most of them are Muslim, which makes Indonesia the largest Muslim country in the world.
A moderate democracy or a hotbed of Islamic fundamentalism? A natural paradise or a man-made environmental disaster? Beyond the beaches, Indonesia is an island nation of extremes, even for the most intrepid traveler.
Okay, well, so get ready for a crazy ride across Indonesia. And technically I'm supposed to be 2 kilometers away from this erupting volcano, and here I must be, I don't know, less than a kilometer, so I think that I should go. So we're going to start our travels here on the edge of this beautiful beach next to this very calm sea. But when I first showed up in Indonesia 5 years ago, well, this sea had killed 250,000 people.
In 2004, on December 26, an earthquake triggered a massive tsunami in the Indian Ocean. Death and destruction washed across 14 countries. The region of Aceh suffered the worst hit. 170,000 lives were claimed here. I'm amazed by the remarkable recovery in the capital. Banda Aceh has been rebuilt, and daily life here seems to have returned to normal. But the memory of the tsunami is close. Many people here believe that the natural disaster was a punishment from God for not following His word.
For centuries, Islam here in Aceh was very moderate, very soft. But after the tsunami, things got a little bit more radical.
In 2001, Aceh became the only Indonesian province to enact Sharia law, the Islamic code for living. But since the tsunami, these rules for daily life, no smoking, no drinking, no sex before marriage, to name a few, have been aggressively enforced. Enter the Vice and Virtue Police, the lawmen of lifestyle.
So it's a Saturday night in Banda Aceh, and I'm here with these guys who are a special kind of police because they are a morality police. They're here to make sure that people follow the Sharia law, the Islamic law. So we're going to be patrolling tonight and see what's happening here on the streets of Banda Aceh.
Tonight, the police are out in force. An undercover unit, 3 paddy wagons, and about 30 cops in uniform. They are an intimidating presence. But to my surprise, I see lots of young boys and girls on motorbikes getting pretty close and comfy. So my first question is for Hassan, a newly enlisted officer.
So Hassan, I see a lot of boys and girls very close together on the scooter. Is that allowed or not?
Well, it shouldn't be done because it's against the Sharia. It could be a husband and a wife. We don't know for sure. Maybe she was his sister.
Because in some other Muslim countries, you can't have boy and girl so close together like that.
No, of course not.
Bike sharing may be a gray area, but there are some rules that the unit must enforce. Miniskirts like this make up for a big no-no. These guys are experts at tracking and catching people that are misbehaving. Like this unlucky lady, who was getting too close to her boyfriend. He seems to have left her to face the fuzz alone.
We often chase people. They should be at home. They're dating while it's late at night.
These girls, the first offenders of the night, will be taken to central booking to face charges. Commander Marzuki is the big boss in these parts, and the scourge of the fun-loving youth. He knows the Sharia law book like the back of his hand.
What's going to happen to the girl that doesn't have a veil and that was out with other guys? What happens to her?
They are breaking rules number 14 and 13, and also rule number 11. The punishment for this is 10 lashes with a cane and a $300 fine. Let's move on to the next place.
Yeah, okay.
On the streets here, no one escapes the watchful eye of the morality police. Long flowing hair definitely gets noticed.
All of you guys are young guys, so how do you meet girls? How do you do it?
Well, the only proper way to do it is to go to her house and meet her parents. Well, according to the Sharia, if you follow the rules to the letter, well, you're only allowed to see her face and her hands. Things have changed today because of the tsunami. Many young people lost their parents, and that's why they have not been properly taught about the Islamic laws.
It's after midnight, and Hassan's unit is sent to inspect restaurants where young Achenese hang out. The morality police must make sure that the local businesses also abide by the Sharia laws. One they should never forget is Rule 21. A restaurant must be brightly lit to prevent any mischief.
Why isn't that good when it's dark? What can happen in the darkness?
When an unmarried man and woman are together, it's possible that a third party will show up, which is Satan. And the man could be urged to do bad things. That's not good.
I see. So to avoid for them to get together, yeah.
For example, the police think this burger shop seems a little too shady. So this time the owners are issued a warning. But just as the morality police quickly clears the joint, and it seems many of the customers dined and dashed.
Look, they're all running away. They'll never pay their bills now. Why do you show up in a pickup like this? You scare everyone off. You're gonna have to pay for their bills now.
I'll tell our commander. My father is dead. This is the only way to make a living.
Where's the notification? I will tear this up. What kind of letter is this? Just give this to the dogs. Throw it away. Hey, what the hell are you looking at?
For these young shop owners, the lost business is a big problem. Many of their parents died in the tsunami and they are just scraping by.
Is it difficult to be young here in Aceh?
Yes, of course it's difficult. But we live here. This is our life and we know the rules. But we didn't do anything wrong. We have a light. It's not too dark. We didn't do anything wrong.
Anger in the group builds, and Hassan's unit starts to lose control of the situation. They need to call in for some backup. Luckily for them, the big boss is not too far away.
Why are there so many cops? I didn't do anything bad.
Handcuff him! Quickly!
I didn't do anything wrong.
You talk back to a policeman.
I was nice.
If you'd been so nice, this wouldn't be happening.
I spoke nicely to the guys. Sir, I spoke to you.
Hold him. Search the restaurant.
With this kid cuffed and subdued, the commander and his men search for one of the worst kinds of contraband.
What is this? It's alcohol.
They've broken rule number 12. Alcohol is strictly forbidden.
Okay, that's it. It is alcohol and it is a big, big sin.
So what kind of punishment?
This is whiskey, but they drank it all.
They drank it already?
Yeah. Yeah, they drank it all. It can make people drunk. And it's dangerous for our country. The punishment is public caning. Is there anything left?
The offenders are all taken back to the station to be interrogated about their crimes. It seems the whole unit wants a piece of the mouthy teenager from the burger joint.
You are just a little boy. You are still a boy, and you hit one of my men?
The commander quickly cuts to the chase.
Are you just a junior in high school? And you already drank alcohol? Who else? Who bought it? He's the one who is selling. You're the one selling the alcohol?
No. The bottle belongs to someone else.
Really?
I swear, there was no alcohol.
Then why is there a bottle of alcohol?
It belongs to another guy.
To who?
I don't know.
The interrogation continues, but the outcome has basically been decided: a trial and a public punishment. To an outsider like me, this seems like a lot of trouble for an empty bottle of liquor. But for the commander and his men, understanding God laws and living by it is key.
But do the people in Aceh feel that if the Sharia law was not respected, that another tragedy would hit like the tsunami?
Yes, if the population of Aceh does not respect God's commands, it is possible that in the future we may face an even more awful catastrophe.
The next day's stop is a whole day's journey. Over an ocean, some rice paddies, scratch that, a lot of rice paddies, to finally arrive at night in the city of Jakarta, the hub of Javanese art and culture for centuries. Today, this city is one of the most diverse and progressive in all of Indonesia. But even here, there are some limits to what can be openly expressed. And so I heard of a controversial counterculture that hides in plain sight, in an unlikely location, a hair salon.
So, I've come here to the city of Jogja on the island of Java to this hair salon, not only to get a haircut, but also because this place is a very peculiar place that helps people in Indonesia that are often forgotten.
Mariani, my stylist tonight, is the owner of the salon. She, like many of her clientele, is actually a he. Here, everyone, gay, straight, transsexual, and even a Frenchman, is welcome. But a good cut and color is not the only reason to come.
Is this the azan? Oh, okay. So what you're hearing here is the call to prayer. So this hairdresser is going to become a mosque.
Every evening, the salon transforms into a makeshift mosque and religious school. Mariani, who has lived as a woman for 30 years now, started this place in 2008 so that transsexuals and homosexuals would have a place to worship and learn freely without the fear of discrimination.
So what's happening here? What's going on?
We are preparing ourselves for the prayer.
But why here? Why not in a mosque, in masjid?
Because when we go to the mosque, people stare at us and ask us why we are there. But here at the Quranic school, we transsexuals can pray together in peace under the guidance of a religious teacher.
The Quran prohibits homosexuality, but does not mention the word transsexual. In practice, both are condemned. Here in Jakarta, the Sharia law is not imposed, but it seems to be a case of don't ask, don't tell in day-to-day life.
So basically, if you were to go today to a mosque or a church because you're Christian, would you be accepted there or no?
Whenever I go to church, I am accepted because no one knows that I'm a homosexual. In general, when people look at a gay or a lesbian, naturally they think the person is a heterosexual. But it is different for my friends who are transsexual. They are physically more visible in society. Obviously, if I say to someone, "Hello, I'm gay," they will say, "What?"
The Imam is straight, and he's been the religious leader here since the beginning.
So there's some things that don't change. The women behind, the men in front, no.
Yes.
This is the rule.
But there are rules with religion, obviously. But here we're in a different place a little bit because you are women, but you are men also, or no?
We're only differentiated during the prayer. This is based on how each person feels it. If he's comfortable dressing as a man, he can do it. If he's comfortable dressing as a woman, it's also all right.
But you, for example, you're a man of God. Do you feel that other people should allow them to go into the mosques? Why do we have to do it like in this hidden place?
Up until now, transsexuals have always been discriminated against. From their birth, from their childhood, until they become adults. How can they have access to education and practice their religion correctly? They're excluded, and that's not fair.
The Imam and his students agree that as good Muslims, their primary obligation is to learn and live by the word of God, regardless of the obstacles they may face.
Here, for example, is Mecca. Will you ever be able to go and do the Hajj, to do the pilgrimage over there?
If it's God's will, if we are lucky. If we are fortunate, we will go to Mecca.
But will you be allowed to go there because you're transgender or you're gay? Is that something that they will allow you to go and visit or no?
We must choose to go as a man or a woman.
As a man or as a woman.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
It should not be forbidden. We are all human beings. The government should be aware that it should authorize the transsexual to go there.
I see.
For now, Mariani and her friends must practice their religion behind closed doors. But at our next stop, everyone is accepted in life and even in death. Everyone rich, that is. Welcome to Jakarta, the massive capital of this country. Everywhere I look, there are shopping malls and skyscrapers, a testimony to the growing wealth in Indonesia. This city is a cultural melting pot. Some 10 million Muslims, Christians, Buddhists and Hindus live packed in the city's crowded streets.
So, right now it looks like I'm hanging out in some kind of 4-star hotel with a great pool, the Italian restaurant and all that. But actually I'm here in one of the biggest, the largest cemeteries in the world.
San Diego Hills Cemetery, a very American name for a uniquely Indonesian venture. Luxury burials. A majority of the Indonesian population lives in poverty. But there is a growing middle class looking for a posh way out, which means that a whole new market has opened up, and San Diego Hills is going all out to cater to their diverse needs. A Christian chapel, a miniature replica of Turkey's Blue Mosque, a merchandising shop, as well as an Italian restaurant. And let's not forget 500 hectares of manicured lawns and a massive man-made Angels Lake.
So I'm waiting for the director of this incredible cemetery, and obviously this is a luxury cemetery, so we've got a heliport, and I think that she's arriving.
After a career in corporate banking, Suzyani is now the managing director of the cemetery, owned by the Lipo Group, a major corporation of Indonesia.
So, what is this place? I mean, I've never seen a cemetery like this. And
this is, we call it the best in the world, you know, the best in the world. Why the best in the world? Because in other countries, the cemetery only the cemetery, not including all the facilities, you know.
Yeah.
But we cater the facilities, we call it the family center. So everybody will come here not only to go for the cemetery, but also for the leisure, you know.
So
life,
it's afterlife fun in a way.
Afterlife, yes. This is the marketing office.
Marketing office?
Yeah. It's just like a country club.
Yeah, because so all this is yours?
Yeah, this is ours, about 500 hectares.
Wow, it's huge. Yeah. And so how many people can die here?
About 5 million burials.
5 million burials?
5 million burials, yeah.
So all this is burial land?
Yeah, that's the burial, and this is the future mega city plan.
So basically, yeah, you live here.
Yeah,
and then you die there.
And then you go to the office here.
And the office here.
You can see what's going on.
What's
there.
going on the other side?
After your life.
You just have to cross the road, yeah?
Most Indonesian cemeteries are old and overcrowded, and plots are often resold if the family doesn't pay their dues. At San Diego, things are different. When you buy a plot, it's for life, or death, should I say, and it gives your family a sort of membership to the country club facilities this place has to offer.
Right, yeah, we have a Chinese, which is Buddhist, and that's a Muslim. Yeah, we have Catholic or Christian. Yeah, but they can live together even though after life, you know.
So maybe in life they can't always live together,
Yeah,
but here they can.
After life also, yeah.
So you bring peace among people.
Among people.
Yeah. And so how much does it cost one, for example? Just
very cheap, you know, for the standard product. It start from $800. $800.
I see.
For one space.
So how long do you think it's going to take to put 5 million people in your cemetery?
To sell or to fill in? Different
To
things.
sell.
To sell. My forecast is about 7 years.
7 years
7
for
years.
5 million
Yeah,
tombs.
My forecast, yeah.
That's a good deal. And then to fill, how long?
I don't know. Depends on God.
On God, yeah. But here, what is this place?
This is, we call it peak of the peak, the highest price.
So the higher you are,
product,
the more money it costs.
Yeah, the more money.
How much is the cost to be on a peak?
We sell it $20,000 US dollars per square meter.
Per square meter?
Yeah.
$20,000 per square meter.
Yeah.
That's more expensive than in Paris or London, the square
yeah,
meters.
that's right.
So,
Yeah.
In my arm?
This mausoleum belongs to the Era family, which spent more than $1 million to build it. It's a high price for a plot, especially in Indonesia. But it doesn't surprise Suzyani, who's already sold for more than $10 million worth of graves in the 3 years the cemetery has been open for business.
Obviously, even in developed countries, buying $1 million plot is a lot of money. Where does the money come from here in Indonesia? There's a lot of business? Or?
They're businessmen. They're businessmen. Yeah, we are a growing, developing country, you know. A lot of opportunities in Indonesia, especially the sources of the coal mining, and then everything is here. Palm oil. The economic growth is good, you know, about 6% this year. Yeah. So a lot of opportunities here.
I see.
Opportunities. It seems everyone wants a piece of this beautiful land. But behind the postcard images of peaceful rice paddies and idyllic beaches lies a tragedy of global proportions. A tragedy that is nowhere more obvious than on the island of Borneo.
I've just arrived on the island of Borneo. Now this place is absolutely incredible and unique. First of all, it's the third biggest island in the world.
And home to one of the biggest remaining rainforests in the world.
So this place is really unique. But as usual, these kind of lost paradises never last very long because mankind is, as usual, destroying everything. So here, we're in the thick of the forest, but this place is changing at an alarming rate.
This vast rainforest is disappearing. Worldwide demand for palm oil, pulpwood, and minerals is fueling deforestation with devastating consequences. Indonesia is now the world's third largest emitter of greenhouse gases. Flooding is eroding the landscape, and indigenous animals are facing extinction.
Today I'm here with the forest department of the island, and right behind them is an NGO that tries to rescue orangutans because these primates have been dying by the hundreds every year because they're losing their natural habitat. So some people like them are trying to rescue them and change their destiny.
Our first stop takes us to a farming village where we heard a baby orangutan had been captured. Known as the humans of the forests, these animals face a bleak and inhumane future in captivity. Carmele is a veterinarian with International Animal Rescue. She's been trying to save the orangutans in Borneo for 7 years. It's an uphill battle, and the local villagers are an obstacle.
What's your initial assessment here?
Well, you can see you don't have to be a vet to realize it's really skinny bones. Probably this is when the mother has been killed. Probably they kill her with the machete.
With the machete, yeah, beating her?
Yeah. And she's only drinking sugarcane water. Only,
nothing else to eat?
Nothing else. Normally these animals would be like the least maybe 6-7 kilograms, and probably this is just like maybe 2 kilograms.
2 kilograms.
The villagers say they found the baby along the side of the road and brought it home to care for it. It's a story that Carmele has heard before. Local Bornean forest rangers investigated the family's account further. The man of the house conveniently disappeared before we started filming.
How long have you kept this orangutan?
We found it in the forest. We've had him for 2 or 3 days.
Isn't it against the law to kill the orangutan? Is it illegal or is it okay?
It is prohibited by the law and the government to capture, to breed, to trade, or to own orangutans. Indonesian law prohibits this.
You know, these villagers also save them. The baby orangutan outside is an orphan, and these villagers have been taking care of him. The only thing is that in these remote villages, people don't know the law and don't know they're protected.
The officers seem satisfied with the family's story, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, what's quite surprising is that inside they're saying that we just found the baby.
I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah.
A baby like this age is always going to be with his mother, right? So now the story is that they found it, but it's bullshit. I mean, of course they killed the mother, and you can see where is this old wounds, you know?
Carmele knows the score. If the orangutans manage to survive the slash and burn of the deforestation process, villagers or hired hunters often kill the adults and sell the babies as illegal pets.
I mean, it holds you exactly like a baby would hold holds your hair, yeah.
But he should be with his mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he's only like maybe 1.5, 2 years old. So it's a long way.
How long do the babies stay with their mothers?
7, 8 years.
Oh, 7, 8 years, I see. So this is like, he's much too young already to be without his mother, yeah?
They kind of fence by themselves.
Yeah.
This is not a unique situation. Within minutes, Carmilla's team receives a tip about another orphaned orangutan.
Well, I guess you've noticed, but there's no more bridge here, so we have to actually put the cars on one of these boats here, these wooden boats, and cross to the other side.
For Carmilla, the plight of these primates can be overwhelming. But each orangutan saved is a small victory, and she has not lost hope.
I think we are still right at the time when we can still do something. Maybe if we wait a little bit longer, there won't be anything that we can do. So I think it's pretty much like if we keep any hopes, it is now when we have to do something.
Yeah.
Somebody kills an orangutan just for the sake of taking the baby. This is unacceptable.
90% of the world's orangutans live in Indonesia, and Borneo is the battleground for the survival of the species. Man's brutal footprint has sentenced 100,000 of these animals to death or life in captivity in the past 40 years. It's like a genocide. And the mining industry is one of the biggest aggressors. After a 6-hour drive, we finally arrive at this mining camp, where we heard they are holding 2 more babies.
Udah kita kesana aja dulu.
2 more babies. That means that 2 more mothers killed. Because this is 2 babies, they are not from the same mother.
Because they're too close. They're too close in age.
Yeah, too close in age.
Yeah.
This is ecological disaster.
Yeah.
Carmilla and the forest rangers meet with mining officials to discuss the 2 orangutan orphans. She has a lot of questions, while the rangers remain silent.
Where did you get him?
Well, the mother was shot by village people. I was there. There was the baby on its chest. I told the man not to kill the baby. Give it to me. I'll take care of it. Then the village people said that I had to pay for it. Then I gave $10 and he didn't agree. I gave him $40 and I went home with the baby orangutan. I take good care of it.
He says that next time when he sees an orangutan, like somebody keeping an orangutan, he will buy it. No, he will buy it and then call us.
Okay.
It's like, no, this is actually the wrong thing. If you are buying it first, it's illegal to buy an orangutan. And second, you are just giving another reason for this person to capture another one. So I don't know if he's understanding.
When the rangers speak up finally, they seem to support the mining official.
We see it ourselves that the orangutan is healthy. He's taking good care of the animal. The only reason that he has not brought it to us is because he is too busy.
Carmilla can't take it anymore and walks out in frustration. She tells me that this soft glove approach from the forestry department is not uncommon. Over the years, they have been accused of petty corruption and accepting payouts from big business interests. After the meeting, the mining boss doesn't seem to think that he has done anything wrong. In fact, it seemed he is received by the spectators as a hero.
Certainly looks like a publicity stunt now. Started out as a rescue and now it's a big show.
Carmilla ignores the action as she carefully loads the babies into cages for their 10-hour journey, where a truly safe haven awaits. This is the International Animal Rescue's Rehabilitation Center for orangutans. I have to wear a mask to protect these primates, our close cousins, from any virus I may be carrying. I forget to get my flu jab before arriving.
So here, what do you have to teach them for them to survive, basically? What are the skills?
Well, the first thing is that they have to learn to climb the trees, yeah? Some of them, especially when they have spent a long time in captivity, they are afraid of height, So they are not really, they are scared of climbing trees. So this is the first super important lesson.
Because their mothers usually teach them that, right?
Yeah, these orangutans stay with their mothers like up to 7-8 years. They learn everything from their mothers. It's not like other animals that they have instinct.
At the center, orangutans are nursed back to health and nurtured until maturity. The ultimate goal is to release them back into the wild where they can live safely. But with the decimation of their habitat, this is becoming a more and more difficult task.
He's definitely very hungry all the time, which is good. I'm pretty sure that if we got there a little bit later, a few days later, maybe he will have been there.
The challenge is, I mean, it's like David versus Goliath, no? Because you're facing, you know, palm oil, mining. How can we win? How can we change the situation? Because the economic interests are so strong that.
But that's the thing. We have to create other economic interests that will protect the forest. I mean, obviously, the idyllic idea of coming here, protecting the forest, when people are poor, it just doesn't work. It hasn't worked in any of our countries either. So I think we have to find a way how we can do things to protect the forest, but take a benefit, economic benefit out of it.
So, I've just left the island of Borneo, and I was just thinking about what Carmele was saying about the fact that it was very difficult to protect nature if there was not an economic interest vested in it. And I think I might have found a story that shows that both can coexist together, but it's straight that way on the eastern side of the island of Java. I think it's a story that will show that, you know, human and nature can coexist together with an economic interest in the middle. I've come here to the mountainous jungles of eastern Java to meet these guys who are actually hunters of a very special kind because, well, I don't really know how to say it, but what they hunt for is poop. The poop of a very specific animal around here. So far we haven't found any.
This is a civet, a nocturnal cat-like creature that roams the forest of Southeast Asia in search of its favorite snack, coffee beans. And demand for what it leaves behind is fueling a gold rush. Cat poo coffee, or kopi luwak, is a cup for the true connoisseur.
So, what exactly are we looking for here?
We're now in a plantation, a coffee plantation. Well, the main diet of the civets is coffee beans. Mature coffee beans. These coffee beans are still unripe. But when they'll be mature, the civets will consume these kinds of beans. And then we use their dung.
Oh, I see.
Obviously looking for poop in the middle of the jungle. It's really like looking for a needle in the haystack, or at least I think.
Come over here, we found some.
Oh, okay.
Well, the civet's dung looks like this. When civets are in the wild, they're used to putting their dung on clean surfaces.
On a stone, so they're on the stone. It looks like a granola bar.
Yeah.
The civets digest the flesh of the berries, but the coffee bean are left intact and then left behind.
Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Wow. So, does it smell? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So 1 kilo of this coffee, how much does it cost?
About $200 a kilo.
$200 a kilo?
Yeah.
For poop coffee?
Betul.
That's crazy.
Jadi kopi luwak ini
So that makes the civet coffee the most expensive and the tastiest coffee in the world.
paling enak.
We keep this. This is like gold.
Yeah.
So what makes these beans so good? Well, the jury is still out. Some say it is the unique digestive process. Others say that these cats know how to find the best beans.
When did Coffee Lua start?
Civet coffee has been around in this region for many years now. The civets have always been in the forest here, and they're part of the environment. But it's only since 2007 that we started producing it industrially and exporting this coffee.
To fulfill worldwide demand for this brew, well, civet farms like this one are popping up all over the region. The animals are contained and fed choice berries, and then the farmers just wait for nature to take its course. And it seems the civets are treated very well here.
This is a quite friendly animal. Huh? Hello. Oh, it smells strong, huh?
Yeah, they really have a strong smell.
So these animals here are caged. Do you ever free them, or do you just capture them and keep them here all the time, or what?
When the coffee season starts, we capture them from the wild. And we generally feed them the coffee beans at night because they sleep during the day. That's why it's excited right now. But it's quite friendly. So we keep them here for 4 to 6 months, and we feed them with coffee beans. And then we free them for the next 6 months.
Well, I never thought I'd say this, but I can't wait to taste this poop.
The process of transforming this poop into a cup of joe is actually pretty easy. The digested beans are washed and washed again, and then laid out in the sun to dry. The result is a blend famous for its subtle nutty tones and lack of bitterness.
Special coffee maker. That this relationship between nature and man, here with the coffee and the civet, is a good example of how things should happen in Indonesia after?
There is a synergy between the environment, the civets, and our economic interests. So this is a very sustainable industry. We are preserving the civets in the forests that are all around us. And we are preserving the plant, the coffee beans, which is the natural food for the civets.
So to be quite honest, I'm not a big coffee drinker. I only drink tea, so I won't really know what I'm tasting, but I'm sure it's very good. Cool. Okay, almost ready.
Smell the aroma.
Yeah, it smells really nice, yeah. It's expensive, so we only get a little bit of it. Well, guys, this is the end of the road. I'm gonna stay here and finish enjoying my poop juice of civet here, which is quite good, actually. So I hope you enjoyed our adventures through Indonesia. This is the end of our journey, and so see you soon somewhere else on the planet. Cheers. Very good, yeah. Yeah, let's go. We go. Yeah.